Okay, so introducing everyone's favorite princess and Kate in voices Mahalia Balls. Woohoo!
Thank you.
I when I was writing up for like your intro, I was thinking like, cause you were like a Disney princess in your bio, and I was like, ooh, should I say everyone's favorite princess?
Well, thank you. Very kind.
Anyway, shall we move on to your experience acting in voices?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it was an awesome experience, and yeah, I it was a great challenge. I'd never done any performance on Zoom or anything like that. That whole aspect of it, and it was amazing to have an Australian team, an Australian playwright, and a team that wrote it, and then working with Kat and also Ryan, the director. Um, I hadn't done a lot of performing in my own Australian accent and things like that, and it was a really, really fun scene. Exploring someone who's going a bit crazy in quarantine was really fun because I've experienced that myself and just like navigating that more. And yeah, it was a great kind of acting challenge and something to explore. And I think something that I'd love to do more of, more kind of Zoom performances and things like that. So yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Most definitely, because Zoom is like the new way of like just exploring theater, and it's kind of weird. But I mean, what can we really do? We can't really go on stages anymore, can we?
No, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, exploring how to do more of that is great, and then it adds another technical layer that you have to deal with. So that's also great that we have the access to these kinds of tools now to use online.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
also happy with it too. And I do want to talk about your scene where because I had an interview with Ryan before, and then he told me that one of the actors had to like hold the cigarette down and not show it that obvious. And then I remember because he said it before I watched it, so I kind of knew. And then I it didn't it was not obvious. Like it was like a really nice technique of just like hiding it, and it's just like you were still in character. It was really good. It was a good technique.
yeah. Thank you. Well, yes, that's because it was obviously called COVID and cigarettes and essentially to be done like with distance. So we're all on Zoom and stuff. But yes, I don't smoke and never have, and so I didn't have access to cigarettes. And there was various discussions about do I like go and buy a pack, but I'd have no use for it. I didn't even really have like someone close to me at that time that I could like give them to or ask for one or something like that. So we were navigating what to do with that. And so, but I had like rolled like a fake cigarette, but to use as a prop when I was at university studying musical theatre. So I kind of did that, and then we played around with that. I did hear from a friend that every now and then she's gone into a 7-Eleven and asked for one cigarette, but I don't. I think that only depends if the guy there is all female, is really nice, and they might just give you one instead of buying a whole pack. But I didn't try any of that. I just we just
Wow. I mean, like, it was like a last minute decision, right? Where you had to do that whole booking
yeah
thing. But maybe next time you have to do it. Maybe you could buy like just one cigarette.
yeah exactly. Well, yeah, I know this now, so yeah yeah.
And do you want to explain more like how is it different from going on Zoom and doing on stage? Because there must be like different ways of the nuances of like learning the lines and also like performing in front of like the camera and that kind of stuff, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
Yes. Yes. Well, it is different, and yeah, something that I notice in the process and that I want to keep working on is things to do with like um, eyeline and things like that. Because it's not even that someone's necessarily filming you externally either. You can use the camera in that way, but it's essentially like you're on Zoom, so just playing around with things like that, and also yeah, how you you rehearse and things like that, because there is such a thing as like Zoom fatigue as well, I think. So if you're in a situation where you're doing a lot of rehearsal where it's just like one-on-one scene, like ours was, just like navigating all of that, and but then it is very close. So whereas in theatre you're further away, so generally you have to do larger facial expressions and use of your body in order to be seen by more people. On Zoom, it's very close up, and my experience is more in theatre acting. I've studied screen acting throughout, but not done as much. So that's something that I want to keep working on, is the small nuances that are caught by the camera, and basically engaging with that and trusting with that, and also kind of how things read on Zoom and things like that. Like, it's just a really good learning experience and something to keep learning about what works and what doesn't, kind of on Zoom. But yeah.
And also, like, I mean, because I had to do like the whole experience of the Zoom thing too, and it is kind of like weird, and it's just like it does feel raw, like the theater, in terms of like we're trying to do it in one take and not try to do a lot of
Yes,
like video
that's
editing
true.
kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
techniques, and
yeah,
it's just so weird. But then like, I mean, I feel like there's the pros and cons, and we
yeah,
can, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
in terms of like like how did you feel of the way that Ryan King had directed for you, and working with Kati, and the working with your writer Emma, I think, was it
Yes,
Emma?
Emma. That's right.
Yes. Cool, I got it. Hey.
Yes, yes. Um, yeah. So I love that Emma is an Australian playwright, and
Mm.
having the opportunity to perform her work, and I hope I um, did it a little bit of justice. But yeah, I think the thing about it, so it is more like live theatre, where because we were kind of doing it in one take and stuff like that. So I and we weren't like watching ourselves back. So there was this kind of trust in Ryan, who was an awesome director, of like him seeing what was going on and saying it was working or not, and like making the adjustments needed to make it work. And so he was really great with that, had really clear direction, and wasn't kind of, telling us this is how it should be, just like from his own decision making, but kind of working with us to create it. And that was really great. And then with Kat as well, it was really fun, playing opposite her, and the different roles we played in the scene to produce the kind of drama and the comedy and stuff. And something that I love about theatre is like connecting with the other person. And I think it was challenging, like trying to do the same level of connecting, but being on Zoom, I think that was something that I found that I wanted to kind of keep working on, was maintaining that kind of level of connection, and not kind of feeling like, oh, I'm on Zoom and this is a bit weird or whatever. And I think, but yeah, it was such a great experience. And then of course, watching it back was the first, like when it premiered, was the first time I saw it. And of course, being a performer, I saw it, and there were great parts, and there were parts that I was like, oh, I wish knowing back, I might have made a different choice or something. But that's the point where it is similar to live theatre, and just also seeing how it read kind of on the screen and on Zoom and stuff like that. But it was a great kind of learning experience in that way.
Wow,
Yeah.
you had just answered my final question about voices, because I was gonna ask you about the final. What did you feel? How did you feel about watching the final cut? And like I totally agree with you in terms of like, there are moments that like, oh, it came out really well, but there are moments that are like, I want to change that, or I want to change that. Like, it's like it's like like the perfectionist of like the artist, like wanting to like keep on improving. And I think like it's nice to know like that we always like, I mean, it's still like a new form of kind of theater, but then I feel like if we just like get used to it, maybe. I mean, I hope we don't get used to it. I hope we go back to like performing on stage.
Yes, yes. But as
But
of right now, yeah,
yes, yeah, of course, of
yes,
course, of course.
yeah.
And I am glad that you had like, I mean, did you have a lot of fun like with the whole CNC experience of the whole being with the team? Like, was it fun for you?
Yeah, yeah, it was really fun, really fun. I was really grateful for the opportunity, and it was a great way to be making theatre in amongst people's like, schedules and things like that. Even rehearsing or recording, even after like, long days or whatever. So it was great, and yeah, I'd love to, as I said, do more Zoom theatre in this time and things like that. But yeah,
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 definitely. I think everyone should be open to the idea of Zoom theater and just watch a lot, because like there's also a lot of other ones that we should give a watch. And I do want to
yeah,
go move on to the transition of your
yeah,
background, because I have
yeah.
to help edit everyone's bio, including
Oh
yours.
yes, yes.
And I want to talk about what inspired you to do musical theater, not just acting
Oh
and not just like music or dance, like musical theater, because it's a very like, yeah.
yes, yes. Well, I've basically loved musical theatre, so singing, dancing, acting, all three disciplines my whole life. I come from a performing arts background. My dad was an actor and is now a high school drama teacher, and my mum was a
Ooh.
dancer. Yeah, so I kind of grew up in the rehearsal room from when I was a baby, because at the time my parents were running a touring theatre arts company in Australia that was kind of touring around Western Australia, in schools and churches and things like that. So they were doing that, and then, but yeah, I was never like pushed to do it, but I just always wanted to. So I started dance classes, from when I was very, very young, and then singing lessons, and was always in drama class with my dad or other teachers and things like that. So and as I said, I was never pushed. It was just always the thing that I've wanted to do. I've never, and I know this isn't everyone's experience, but yeah, I've just never wanted to do anything else. It's like breathing for me. I'm extremely passionate about it. So yes, I did a lot of community theatre
Wow.
throughout high school and things like that, and then went on to study music theatre and acting full time for 3 years, and then I moved to Sydney and studied my Bachelor of Arts in Musical Theatre at Federation University in Sydney. And so that was, yeah, my journey of growing up in the arts, and then spending 6 years training in musical theatre, and then so that was my music theatre story before I then went on to work professionally, starting at with Disney. So
Ooh, wow, you are really good at transitioning the whole play.
yeah.
You should just do the interview yourself. I mean, I still would love to talk to
No,
you, but wow,
it's
you.
good to have someone to speak to.
Well, I was gonna ask you about your job as a Disney princess and your experience towards it. Like, what made you start wanting? Because, like, musical theater, like, I mean, it does have a lot of that kind of aspects in this being a Disney princess, but like, it's like a one of the different choices that you could have taken in the options of like musical theater, isn't it? Because there will be like off
Yeah,
Broadway, or like
correct.
West End, or like the ones in
Yeah, yeah,
the Australian, that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's the very interesting thing is that I mean, I just want to perform in general, and however that takes me throughout life. But yes, my ultimate kind of goal and dream would be like to perform on Broadway, and that's definitely in like musicals. So theatre is my first love, musicals on the stage. So that is something that I have always been pursuing and will always. So yeah, at the time in my final year of university, which was 2017, I was auditioning for all kinds of jobs. I essentially just wanted, a job performing, basically, to be paid to perform, which is what we all want, really. And it
Mm.
can be very hard to get those jobs. And Australia, I love Australia, and I love Australia's musical theatre. Sorry, my belting.
Okay.
I
It's okay.
love Australia's musical theatre industry, and it's wonderful. I do think that it's very competitive to get jobs being paid in theatre, and it always has been. And I always knew that, and so I was open to wherever it was going to take me. And so one of the auditions I did in that year was for Hong Kong and Shanghai Disneyland. It was just a big cattle call where you kind of did this, lovely princess dance and things like that. And I just remember having a lot of fun that day. I didn't, I left and I essentially forgot about it, but I just remember thinking, oh, that was fun. And I'd always worked with kids. I'd worked at play centres and run kids' birthday parties and things like that. So I'd always loved them. And so the thought of, working with Disney and bringing joy to kids was something that was exciting to me. And so, but yeah, and then it was just like an amazing kind of provision. Like I said, I kind of forgot about it, and then I got this call being like, offering me a job to perform at Hong Kong Disneyland, and it was amazing. And and so that was, I just decided to take it. And interestingly enough, there were some like mentors and teachers that were like, well, maybe you shouldn't take the job because you're about to graduate, and if you leave the Australian industry, like you might miss out on the momentum of graduating and stuff. And that had a point, but I just knew that I wanted it. It was like a dream on so many levels. I love Disney and things, and things like that. And so I just decided to take the risk, and it ended up being amazingly worth it. There's something so world expanding about traveling and working, because Australia is quite isolated. It's an amazing place. And if I could tell anyone one thing that they should do in their life is like go and live somewhere else, because it opens up your mind and your heart, and you meet people, and it opens up, your dreams. And I worked in Hong Kong for a year, and then I met my partner, and then I went to Tokyo for 14 months and finished that earlier in the year, and then I made my way back to Hong Kong. And the theatre's obviously been affected right now, but so currently teaching right now, but it's just been an amazing kind of dream come true journey. I do miss the stage, so as soon as it's still on my radar, the auditions, the self-tape, the training to get there, and just trusting in the timing of it. But everyone's story is different, and that's what I think it's important to remember. Like, there's no one way to get to Broadway. And so I was, I'm proud that I didn't say no to an amazing opportunity, because I thought, it's not the way that everyone else gets there, because everyone gets there in their own way, and that's what's special. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, honestly, like the reason why I brought up like Broadway and all that stuff, because like there was like different kind of options, but then honestly, being a Disney princess is like every girl's dream to do. Like I swear.
Yeah, of course it was a dream. Of course, like as I said, theatre is my first love, and I missed it, and I wanted to do that. So it wasn't. But yeah, exactly. It was just like, it's just like a kind of, and coming from Australia where we don't have like a Disneyland, and so it was literally a year before I was offered the contract that I visited Florida and went to Disney World there, and met characters there, and met the princesses there, and was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like in Australia, it's not really on your radar. So it's amazing that the Disney Parks in Asia tour, and they audition talent from different areas in the world, which is awesome, and it's an amazing opportunity. So
I'm glad that you had this whole experience in Asia of doing it in Tokyo and Hong Kong. And also I just went to Disneyland I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. So did you see the new castle?
Yes.
So yesterday, but it was closed. I
know.
Oh.
Cause like because there was this 15-year anniversary discount where you can get for it's like a 2-for-1 kind of ticket, and it was really good. So I can go again at January when it reopens.
Good, good. I love that.
Oh, it felt like a
Yeah,
magical journey,
yeah, yeah.
honestly. I loved Disneyland. Like I mean like 'cause like Hong Kong, like for some reason we have Disneyland, even though we are a very small city. But
So
then it's
lucky. I know. Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
it's amazing. I love the princesses, and I really want to ask, what princesses did you play during when you were
Yes,
in Disneyland?
yes. So I don't think well, as many young children will watch this, but just to maintain the magic, I'll say I was friends with. So these were the characters that I was friends with, and so they included. There's been various, but at Hong Kong Disneyland, my friends included Belle and Snow White and Cinderella and Rapunzel and Ariel and Mary Poppins, and also Cruella de Vil, the villain from 100 Dalmatians. So
You
yeah,
have such amazing friends.
yes, thank you. I know. I know, so many, so varied, and they're all just so great in different ways, and yeah, just so inspiring, and and regardless of their stories, the older ones or the newer ones, I think every child growing up should experience the stories and the strength that all the princesses have and things like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. It sounds
Yeah.
oh so it's you bring me back memories of Disneyland that I went 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
And
yes, absolutely.
and yes, I did love the reconstructed
Yes,
castle. It
how was
looks
it?
so pretty. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like when it's a little dim, like when it gets sunset and stuff, it turns really pink.
Oh, I like it even more. But I have a
Mhm.
look. Yeah.
Mhm. And also cause me and my friend we rode the roller coaster Grizzly Gulch and Hyperspace Mountain,
Uh-huh.
each of them 5 times. That we
Are you
like.
serious? They're my favorite. The
Yes, I
Space
mean,
Mountain. Yeah, they're so good. So good.
I love Grizzly Gulch. From the bottom of my
Yeah.
heart, like it's
Yeah.
amazing. I did like Hyperspace Mountain, but I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I haven't watched any to really be a fan to enjoy the choo choo choo.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that. I'm similar, yeah. But the Space Mountain ride there's one in most of the parks. And so I've been on a couple in other places, but the one at Hong Kong Disneyland is my favorite, Space Mountain. So it's very fun. But yeah,
Mhm.
Grizzly Gulch is also, yeah, such great roller coasters. And, it's sad with everything going on, but it's nice that you could be there and there weren't long lines. So you could go on
Oh
the right side.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had no. There was
Yeah.
no waiting for I remember there was no waiting for both roller coasters, and then
Oh my
we
God.
there was a
Yeah.
it was at one point it was just me and my friend, who went on the front seat. That was
Oh my
so
God,
fun.
that's classic. Yeah.
Yeah, and also whenever I go to Disneyland before COVID, like whenever I go to the Toy Story area, and then like
Yeah.
all the rides there always has such long lines. It would take
Yes.
2 to 3
Yeah.
hours, and then I never rode on it until 2 weeks ago. I was
Yes.
able to. I rode that
Yeah, that's
uh
my favorite. I just wish it was longer. It's RC Racer. Yeah.
yes.
So fun.
Yes, yeah, that was so fun. It scared the hell
Yeah.
out of me, but it was
Yeah.
so fun. Oh,
So
I
fun.
loved it.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
parachute. The parachute was cute.
Yes. Yes.
It
Very
was a bit
cute.
slow for me, but like it was still
I
cute.
know. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite thrill, is like the kind of dropping thrill. It's so fun. I love rides. So yeah.
Yeah, I do. And also, when I went to Disneyland during high school, I went there for my business trip because we had to learn the business of Disney. And I realized that you guys have to change your words whenever you talk with people, or like your title, or like the nuances of keeping it like like a character, isn't it?
Yes.
If that
Yes.
makes
So
sense.
yes. So basically, the children are meeting the characters straight out of the animation. Um, so you meet when you meet Snow White. She is the real Snow White, and so there is an accuracy in how she is just the real life version. So when you meet Snow White, how she moves and how she speaks is exactly the animation, and that is the detail and the magic and the authenticity of it. That is kind of and that's the magic that's maintained throughout all the Disney parks and things like that. So yeah, which is amazing. Like, it's just so magical, and the quality, and I mean, that's the Disney brand and the Disney way. Everything is that a high quality and standard, and that's why it's so timeless and just remains one of the most magical places to go. And so
Yeah, because I watched Lion King,
yes.
the show of that. Oh, that was so
the
amazing.
show. So that I mean, so they're obviously, that's kind of like a musical version of the movie, and so they cast, amazing, vocalists and things like that. It's such a good show. Yeah, it's really
So
good.
The puppetry of the whole animals was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, since you had been in Disneyland for quite a while, is there any tips for anyone to go Disneyland, or like any secrets that you're okay to share? If you're not okay, we can move on to. But then if you have any, do let me know, or let everyone know.
Do you mean like for working with Disney, or do you mean for like attending Disney?
Attending, because I think me to work at Disney is a really risky job.
Attending. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I have anything super secret to share. I think every Disneyland is different. So without sounding like an advertisement, I think it's worth, at some point in your life, going to each one. I think, as I said, like in Australia, we don't have it. And so, like it's rare for Australians to have been to one, let alone multiple. And so I do count myself extremely lucky to have, been able to go to and work at Hong Kong Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland, and then to also have visited Shanghai. So I actually have done them all except in California. So I've just got one left. So again,
I thought there's Paris Disneyland. Paris.
Yes, I've been there. That was when I was younger, actually, when I was like 16, with my family. I went to that one, and to be honest, I don't remember that one as well. So I should go back. But it's sad that we can't travel right now. But the beauty of Asia as well is it's easy to travel between them. And Shanghai Disneyland is really new, but has just some amazing state-of-the-art rides, like their Pirates of the Caribbean ride and things like that. So it's really amazing, and they really bring out the cultures of the different places that the Disney parks are into. So that was great. And then of course Tokyo Disneyland is like another kind of level of its own. The Japanese attention to detail and culture is so big, and they've got a one of a kind. Lost the.
It's okay.
The headphones fall out of my ears. They have a one of a kind park there called Disney Sea, which is based on all the waterfronts in the world.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so cool.
So that you can't go to anywhere else. So of course that is something to really put on the bucket list. So yeah.
I mean, I love Disneyland. So whatever you're telling me right now is just giving me happiness right now.
Exactly. Yeah, we just got to plan where you're gonna go, which Disney you're gonna go to when things become safer and things like that, and look forward to that. So, yeah.
I mean, when I went to Disneyland 2 weeks ago, they were keeping it in a really good, safe measure in terms of like, after every ride, there's always a hand sanitizer, and I feel like after like going to many rides, my hands feel very clean.
So
from like putting hand sanitizer like in 5 times in 1 hour is like a bit too much for my hands, but like it's just it's crazy. And I want to move on to like because we talked a lot about Disney now. Like, shall we move on talking more about musical theater?
Yes, sure. Yes,
Ooh,
absolutely. Yeah.
now I do want to ask, what is your favorite musical production that you have been in and seen? So they're like
Oh,
two separate
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes I feel like because I love music theatre, I love everything for different reasons. So it's often hard for me to choose. But I think my favorite, one of my most favorite productions to be in was in 2016, my second year of my degree. I played the lead role in the musical Bells Are Ringing, which is a classic 1950s musical.
Ooh.
Um, the role, and so yeah, I played the character. Oh, I'm losing headphones left, right, and center.
It's
The
okay.
character was Ella. Her name was Ella Peterson, and the role was played by Judy Holliday back in the day, and such a classic,
Ooh.
iconic. You know, Ella was a switchboard operator and a lovely, fun musical about love and things like that. And so that was just so amazing to play a role that required so much singing, dancing, and acting. And I just loved her so much. It was honestly just like a total joy. And then another show that I did in community theatre during high school where I was just in the ensemble, but it was called The Boy from Oz. And it uses the music from an Australian song and dance man called Peter Allen. And actually, it was on Broadway for a while, and Hugh Jackman played the lead role on Broadway. So I did a community theatre production of that, and it was just such a fun show to be in the ensemble. Like the ensemble was used a lot, we sang and danced a lot, really fun costumes and things like that. So that was really fun. And then musicals that I've seen. Um, so the standard is I've seen like Wicked, like probably 5 times or something like that. Wicked is, I mean, I think most people love Wicked, but it's just like such an incredible thing to see, and yeah, the costumes, the dancing, the performances, just like so amazing. And then also when I visited New York for the first time at the end of 2016, I lined up at Hamilton and received on Broadway and received the standing room ticket, which was like $40 I think. So I stood for 3 hours at the back and watched it, but it was honestly like so worth it and amazing. And yeah, so that was obviously just like mind blowing. And the fact that I stood for 3 hours and didn't even notice the time passing or my feet hurting or anything like that was just so like amazed and inspired. So that was incredible. And then another musical that I mean, I love so many, but another one that I've seen twice, both times that I've been to New York. My partner was actually born and raised there, so the second time I went, I visited him, and we went again was to the musical Waitress. And
I love Waitress. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
god.
it's like such a good musical. I mean, I like Sarah Bareilles is just like an incredible human and an incredible writer. And so, yeah, I saw it the first time, and that time I saw like the understudies who was playing it at the time. But again, so good, so funny, like,
The
and so
production I watched had Sarah Bareilles.
yeah. Oh my gosh, really? In New York?
Yes, her.
Oh,
Oh no, not in New York. I watched her in London. She was
oh, is that
there for like for
that's
like I think
amazing?
3 months. But I saw her. She was amazing.
So amazing, yeah, yeah. And the second time I saw it was a singer called, well, performer called Shoshana Bean was in it, and she's also was in Wicked and things like that. And she's again an amazing singer, and so yeah, so great. And it's like my my partner's very creative too, but in a different field. But he like loved it, like he laughed like the whole time. So
Oh
funny, so
yes.
great. Cool, yeah,
Waitress was just like a really nice kind of like a feminist kind of musical where like
yeah,
where the
very great.
women just like
Yeah,
make their own choices. It's just so good, and the music.
so good.
I loved when he sees me,
Yeah,
the one with the whole like contemplate. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute.
no, yeah, the friend. Yeah, she's so
And
yeah.
Hamilton, I actually had to watch. I also watched Hamilton for in London as well, and
In the UK, yeah.
I had to book it for 4 months in advance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's great because, I mean, in America, I don't know now, but when I was there, it was booked out for like 2 years or something. So, like, you couldn't book, like, unless you wanted to buy, like, a resold ticket for, like, $1,000 or whatever. So, hence the lining up. But, yeah, it might be better now. But, yeah, it's been booked out for,
No,
very
and
long.
then I had a friend who had connections with the people who work in the musical of the one in London,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he got to watch it for free, and I was so pissed. Like he watched it for free in the
I
front row
know.
seats, and I was like,
I like a really good seat. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
know.
it's
Amazing.
crazy,
That's
so
the dream.
crazy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also another production I really love, and it's from Australia. It's Priscilla.
Oh, yes. I have not seen a professional production of that, I don't think. Like, there's obviously a movie, but yeah, it's really good.
It's
Yeah,
really good. It's really good.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm going to ask you two questions and we're gonna end this interview, but I do
yeah.
want to ask, what's your favorite musical dance number?
Oh, that's a good question. Hmm, amazing.
I could tell you mine is the one in West End.
What's yours?
West Side Story, West Side Story.
West Side. Oh, yeah. Oh, West Side Story. I mean, is just like a classic. Yeah, that's
Oh my
amazing.
god.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So good.
the part where they sang the da 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 America. I
Rika,
forgot
yeah, yeah. Oh my
that.
gosh. I mean, yeah, I would love to. I look at that and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that. That's amazing. But yeah,
Yes.
um, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I think I love like a lot of the classic stuff. A lot of the new stuff's amazing too. But yeah, like I mean, more modern, like Wicked, Dancing Through Life. That dance number with the
Mm.
contemporary dance is amazing. But then like more classic stuff, like I love like kind of Bob Fosse back in the day. So his
Ooh.
choreography in like Chicago. So like all that jazz, that kind of thing. Or like there's one called The Frug in the musical Sweet Charity, which I love. Or there's actually
Ooh.
a trio where they sing There's Got to Be Something Better Than This, and they dance in that. So that kind of choreography from the golden age of musicals back in the 50s and 60s, etc. Yeah, I love. Yeah,
Ooh, that
yeah,
sounds really cool. And I have
yeah,
one
yeah.
more, which is your ideal role to play in a musical. What's the role that you always want to play in a musical?
Yeah. Well, again, it's weird, like because I love all musicals. Like I love to do anything, but I think some of the ones that have popped up, I'd love to actually play Charity in the musical Sweet Charity, which is a classic musical from the golden age. I'd love to play Mary Poppins in there's a production of Mary Poppins, and I've always loved her, loved Juliana, so I think that would be an amazing dream. And yes, so they're two that are coming to mind. But honestly, anything I could be cast in, really. But yeah, they're two that I'd enjoy. So
I
yeah.
mean, I could see you being a really amazing Mary Poppins, and I hope
Oh,
to
thank you.
see you playing Mary Poppins one day.
Yes, thank you. Thank
And
you.
thank you for doing this interview. Do you have
Yeah,
anything to
thank you.
say? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you
No,
have
no.
anything to say for the viewers who want to give them a reason to like why they should watch Voices or like that kind of stuff? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, please watch Voices and all of COVID and Cigarettes. It's so important to support the arts right now. And also, like, we're just, I mean, it's very clear that the arts are like a really important part of the world because we are consuming so much of it during this time of COVID and things like that without even realizing. So you can also be intentional about what you consume and consume theatre like COVID and cigarettes and support actors and things like that. And also, yeah, have a laugh, have some fun and things like that. And yeah, enjoy.
Ooh, and that is Mahalia, guys, and we are
Thank you.
done. Thank you,
Thank you so
and we're
much.
going to end